Hey everyone, welcome to another video. For all of your Brisbane International Film Festival content, please consider clicking that subscribe button because today I'm going to be talking about the new Pedro Almodóvar short film, Strange Way of Life. So let's get into it. So this is actually my first Almodóvar film. I am really excited to check out his filmography. He is a highly acclaimed Spanish director, and I have always wanted to find an excuse to dive into his work, and what a better time than the present. Being my first, it's only 30 minutes, it's not a full feature, but I definitely saw some very interesting stylistic choices, a very compelling narrative, and a film that just flew by. This was 30 minutes long, and it felt even shorter than that because it just keeps things moving at a nice pace. You're interested in these characters, you're interested in this narrative that's going on, and honestly, I wanted a little bit more. This has been looked at as the Brokeback Mountain that Almodóvar would have made back in 2005 or whenever that film came out, because he was a strong contender to direct that film, but he chose not to due to his own insecurities, and it was just something that he wasn't comfortable making at the time. As he has matured and evolved as a filmmaker, we're finally seeing that vision come to life in a short movie, and it really works, and you do see a lot of the influences that Brokeback Mountain has. You have Pedro Pascal, who is kind of similar to Jake Gyllenhaal's character in that film, where he's very comfortable with his sexuality and wants to have a real relationship. Then you have Ethan Hawke, who is kind of similar to Heath Ledger in that film, where he's kind of repressing it a little bit, but he consistently gives in to his sexual desires, and it is very compelling the way it moves forward. The conflict that these characters have with each other is very interesting, and just like Brokeback Mountain, it all adds up to being a really moving portrait of two soulmates that just, due to societal confines and judgment and laws back in these times, they kind of have to pull away from each other and be secretive about it. And it's such a shame when you're watching it in this form where these two souls truly belong together, but they just can't be together. There is a lot more to that than just the relationship. Ethan Hawke is a sheriff and he has duties, and one that brings about a massive conflict with Pedro Pascal's character is the fact that he's hunting down his son. So that adds another form of tension between these characters. Even though they love each other, they still have their duties. Pedro Pascal to his son and Ethan Hawke to his job. I won't spoil it, but the way it plays out is quite interesting. However, it ends the film on a note where it felt really abrupt, and it honestly felt like a really good first act to a full-length feature film. This thing could have been 2 hours long, and it would have been phenomenal because what I did see in that 30 minutes was promising, but it just ends when it feels like we're building a lot of momentum, and it's such a shame. It definitely leaves a bit of a sour taste in your mouth, and that's why the reviews haven't been as good as what they probably should be. I did think that was something that is worth criticizing. However, the time I spent with this film, I had a good time. Almodóvar is also very efficient in telling us a lot about these characters in such a short amount of time. Sure, there's definitely more that we could have unearthed, but what we get in the 30 minutes is a lot. You get flashbacks to when this relationship blossomed. You get the conflict that they're in now. You get a whole range to this relationship. And Pedro Pascal and Ethan Hawke are both brilliant in their roles. And sure, there is some great moments between the two. If you're a fan of Pedro Pascal and you're thirsting over him, there are some moments in here that definitely fulfill that for you. The production value is also fantastic. This is a collaboration with Prada, so the costumes do feel like they're from Prada. And because of that, you could say they're not very period accurate. This is a Western. This looks like we're going back to the 17 or 1800s. And some of the outfits, such as what Pedro Pascal wears, seem a bit too bright and just follow a lot more of a modern aesthetic, which I think could take some people out of the film and instantly recognize that they're wearing Prada and it is kind of an advertisement in a way. However, I didn't see it that way. I thought it added a lot of flavor to the film in my perspective, and I actually enjoyed those choices. However, the one thing that did hold it back for me was the production design, because at times it was great and it was practical, and I don't know if it was the camera angle or they went in this direction, but there were a couple of moments where it didn't feel like production design, it looked like visual effects, and therefore when the characters were placed in a location, it felt very artificial, and that took me out of the film for sure. So I would have liked to have seen that handled a little bit better. As I said, it's tough to tell whether that was just a stylistic choice with the camera or it was visual effects. Either, it didn't really look the best at times. That is really the most apparent in its opening scenes. There's someone singing and there's a wall behind him, and it looks like he's been cut into this scene. It doesn't look like he's really there. And to me, that does hurt the film at times. Look, overall, Strange Way of Life is a great short. There's a lot of interesting things in this. It's exciting, it's compelling. As I said, the 30 minutes absolutely flew by. And do I recommend it? Absolutely. It's really fun. There's just a good focus on entertaining you and showing you a really interesting relationship and how that's all going to play out. I really wish this was a full-length feature. Hopefully in the future, Almodóvar does turn this into a 2-hour length film, because I think it could be incredible. And that's my thoughts towards Strange Way of Life. If you've seen the short, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Are you a fan? Did you not like it? I'd love to know what you think. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.